I'm gonna steal your sunshine and I'll shit on your parade. Don't get me started on doing Michael Caine. If my opinion matters, yours will fall in last place. I'm not shutting up and you'll be learning my name. Fifth in the family, but first in my mind. 1 out of 10, but I'm ranking just fine. We've only got now, there's no afterlife. Look, Mom and Dad, I'm just speaking my mind. Everything's coming up Kyle tonight. Everything's coming up Kyle tonight. Everyone's coming on Kyle tonight. Wait, what? No, nobody's coming on Kyle tonight. Everything's coming up Kyle tonight. You can't shut this mouth, but you're welcome to try. I only stop talking to drink, smoke, or eat and cry. I never shut up, gonna talk till I die. Gonna talk till I die. Everything's coming up Kyle tonight. You can't shut this mouth, but you're welcome to try. I only stop talking to drink, smoke, or eat and cry. I never shut up, gonna talk till I die. Gonna talk till I die. Gonna talk till I die. Gonna talk till I die.
All right, everybody, we are live here with Season 4, Episode 5 of Kyle Mocha Won't Shut Up. I am your host, Kyle Mocha, and joining me, as always, is Mr. Justin Olimpado, now in the downstairs chair. You used to be up there. Now you're down here.
Yes.
I finally got it right after 5 weeks. I finally got the pointing to you in the right. Keep trying to go to the upstairs chair.
Yeah, it's
You're
a little
not
weird
there
this
no
year,
more.
Yeah.
Justin don't live there no more.
I don't.
Oh, I just want to point out
Still
real
here,
quick. I like that you're wearing the hat. This is a hat that I
Yes.
left at my ex's house and just got back after like almost a year. And I can't wear it because if I wear it, I would wear it backwards and I would look like Slacky. And that we already look too much alike, except I'm just like his miniature version. And we're in the same room a lot. It would get really difficult. So, sweet hat, bro.
Hey, thanks, man.
Yeah, I like to bring things up that make you have to thank me. It's called being a sociopath, I think. Yeah, I don't know.
Weird.
I don't look definitions of things up. But speaking of definitions, we do have the creator of the Epitome of Definition. That's a segue. Mr. Zachary. Ooh, storming. Oh,
What the fuck?
icy. That is icy there. Now we are also joined in studio by two very special guests. We have Jen and SteveO from the band SteveO and the Crippling Addictions. Or do you just call it the Crippling Addictions, or do you call it SteveO and the Crippling Addictions, or you kind of go back and forth?
That has been a battle. That has been.
It's a newfound glory situation.
Transition period.
Yeah, the thing is, it seemed like a good idea at the time.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then once the merch was printed, we had the koozies printed, the shirts printed, all of that shit. And it was just like, well, now we have to ride it.
Yeah.
And you know, I gotta say, Adam from Say 10, who put out our last record, he actually fought me on it originally. He was just like, dude, it should be the Crippling Addictions without the SteveO. And I fought to have the SteveO, and now I realize it was a losing fight.
Because I was realizing, I was trying to tag you on Instagram, and I was like, at SteveO, and at...
Well, it's even worse.
Steve hyphen? Oh, no, okay.
It's even worse. The Bandcamp
yeah.
is just SteveO the Crippling Addictions, because they won't let you have a damn ampersand.
Oh, right, yeah.
And how many letters do you really want to put in a band name?
Wait, you can use an ampersand on Spotify?
Oh, it's made our life a living hell.
Oh, fun.
You can't find us. It's impossible.
Yeah, so if you want to
if you type out the word "and," you will not
without
find
the
it.
ampersand.
Weird.
With Spotify, it is the ampersand.
Okay.
So, I mean, it's really for literary folks.
Yeah.
It's really what we've been working
I have a buddy who literally, his first tattoo he got was an ampersand right here on his arm. And then I think he got a bass clef over here. I'm not sure.
Slacky wants to know what's wrong with looking like him.
Nothing, brother. There's nothing, brother. There's nothing wrong with looking like you. It just gets so confusing already. Every day I deal with, you're the karaoke guy, right? And I go, do you mean that is I'm the guy who does karaoke really well? And they go, no, the guy that runs it. And I'm like, oh, shit. And no offense to you on that sentence, too. I kind of backhanded complimented you. Are you the guy that sucks or the guy that's good?
Yeah, wait, you run the karaoke, but
No, I do not. Slacky does, and we just look a lot alike. But he's like a foot taller than me.
I want to digress on the karaoke guy thing you just said.
Yeah.
Because what I'm saying is this. If you're known as the karaoke guy...
Yeah.
I think that you're known as the person who is throwing the karaoke show.
Yeah. He is the karaoke guy.
If you're known as, like...
The star singer.
The Aerosmith Pink guy.
Yeah. Like, he's the AC/DC guy.
Nobody wants to be known that guy, though.
Yeah, he's Thunderstruck, and I'm Bobby Darin.
Yeah,
or
like,
the Jim Blossoms. Anything like real cheesy and middle register where it sounds like you're doing a really good job.
The Steely Dan guy.
Dude, Steely Dan.
You remember him in the post office.
That'd be great.
Steely Dan guy.
Yeah, and you just see him and you call him probably Dan. You're like, Dan? Yep, hello, Dan. Mr. Steely.
But you have to steel yourself for that conversation.
You do.
Just
You
to
do.
make sure.
You do.
You don't know him that well.
You do not. Now, right now we're sipping on some beer, but we have some weird things to drink as well. So let's jump right into what are we drinking?
We drink it so you don't have to. Review it in the morning from the bathroom. Cheap booze and craft brews. Review it in the morning from the bathroom. What are we drinking? What are we drinking? Yeah!
Alrighty. Now today, Justin and I. Yep. Are they gonna hear that at least? Are they gonna hear the burps at least? The burps are the most important part. We picked up something that I've been looking at for a couple of weeks now. But if Justin, you give him a nice shot of that up there, it is Chill Fizz. Chill Fizz. It is iconic Philly hard seltzer. Now we went with mixed berry love. Mixed berry love. I mean, I like. Okay, first of all, the design of it. They're going with the whole love statue thing. F-I on the side. ZZ. Cute. That's nice.
They're genuine Philly taste.
A genuine Philly taste. So this is going to taste.
Smell like Philly?
Like trash?
No, I mean, I'm assuming with my experiences living
Sort
in
of
Kensington,
smells like
it's going to
Philadelphia.
smell like.
It really smells like
Does
Philadelphia.
it?
Sort of.
Because when I lived in Kensington, it just smelled like cat urine and the laundry detergent. It's either that smell or the smell of Chinatown at 7 a.m. when the sun's just starting to hit.
That's a good one. That's like wet.
Okay, this is weird. Now, it does say
like
it's sun-ripened wild berries, kiss of agave, and refreshing Philly seltzer, 4.5%, 95. Does it say 95 little calories? It says 95 little calories.
I won't lie to you. I like it.
Though, because
You
I
like
don't
it? I'm going to give it a sipper.
I like it. It's not too
The
sweet.
Philly references are the thing that's really
It's
turning me off.
offensive, yeah.
I don't see it.
This tastes more like an
It's
alcoholic
iconic.
beverage than most of the seltzers. Like, I'm tasting the alcohol, I feel like, more than in like a White Claw or in the other ones, which I do like. I don't know if this, again, I don't think I've seen another one of the those companies making a berry flavor, like a mixed berry one.
Truly does.
Truly does?
Yeah, that's gross.
Truly is, I think that was the
too
one that we
sweet.
kind
That's
of
okay.
thought
Is that
that
the
was
cough
pretty
syrup
good.
one?
They're the ones that have the really good tropical.
The tropical,
mix.
yeah, the tropical
All
is
the
phenomenal.
tropical ones are great.
Yeah.
This is not bad,
All right.
though.
Now, would you recommend to somebody who's drinking a Truly or something like that to give this a shot? And would you rank it above the Natty Seltzer? I already talked to you guys about that before. We all agree the Natty Seltzer's pretty damn
Aloha,
good.
bitches.
Aloha, bitches.
No, but what I would say is this. I would recommend this to someone drinking Truly, if only to start a strange conversation.
Yeah.
And then have them be either bummed or stoked.
Yeah.
Because it's just to have the conversation alone.
I mean,
I
the whole.
like it, but I hate the Philly reference.
See, you're loving the Philly, you're hating the Philly. I'm kind of partial.
Because I don't
on it.
like what makes it iconic to Philly.
Inspired by the city of brotherly love, guys. That's what it says. Artfully crafted for a genuine
so
Philly
what, by
taste.
chicks in yoga pants?
Yeah.
And little dogs
Exactly.
walking in Rittenhouse
That's
Square?
what it is, exactly.
Is that what this is for?
Brownstone.
That's actually what this
It
tastes like.
tastes like
You haven't
brownstones.
hit it right on the head. tastes like chicks in yoga pants walking little dogs in Rittenhouse Square. And why is that not in the paragraph?
I don't know. Now, the other thing that we are drinking, we always have a weird thing, and then our pacing beer. Our pacing beer is the Bud Ice. The Bud Ice. Now, when I saw this case, I looked at it.
Pacing beer.
Oh, Bud Ice pacing beer. Oh, yeah.
It's stronger than this one.
It is stronger than this one. This one is, the Bud Ice is 5.5%. When I saw the case, I genuinely thought that something had been left behind from like 1998. I've never really noticed Bud Ice available anywhere. You see Natty Ice, you see all of the other, the Keystone Ice, you see all of those guys, but never the Bud Ice. So I was like, we always drink kind of the Keystone, the Natty, more of the Natty side. We're daddy's boys, we like the Natty daddies.
Oh no, you like those?
I mean, after 30% of the beer's in my mouth and I am drunk and don't taste it anymore.
That is the
and they give you the extra ounce.
They do. They give you that extra ounce. You gotta love them.
What, $2.25?
They do sell them in 12 packs. You can get them
I
somewhere.
only buy them in the
packs.
15s.
Yeah, the 15s. Yeah.
We're real gross.
We're real gross. I want to have to open 15 individual Natty Daddies and call myself a daddy's boy every single time. But the Bud Ice, I don't know. It's kind of just more of the same. Like it doesn't really stand out in
heavier
any
than
way.
the Natty Ice.
I have
On
multiple beers,
flavors.
Rich is saying Bud Ice pacing beer sounds
Is
like something
Keystone
you
better?
do at a NASCAR event.
No. This
Yeah,
was,
totally.
much.
actually,
Just run around the
having
track
a
holding
little
Bud
bit
Ice.
of the chill fizz in your mouth, and then taking some of the Bud Ice, is not a good idea. I'll just say that. No, it is. You get the aftertaste. The chill fizz takes away the aftertaste of the Bud Ice. We should just change this show to we drink and play music, drinks and songs.
This should be stronger.
This
really
is stronger.
I don't want to
but it's
speak out
only
of turn.
4.5%.
I really don't see that much of a difference between the Chill Fizz and the Bud Ice. Like, call me crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, other than one has like a slight fruit.
Yeah, fruit. There's a fruit taste.
Yeah.
I am kind of
Fizz.
unsure of which one I'm drinking when I'm holding it even. All right. Okay, so that's what we're drinking right now. So let's kick it on over to what's happening, what's going on in the world. Hit it, Justin.
Hey, what's happening? Hey, what's happening in the world?
I sell it, motherfucker.
What's going on? What's going on? Hey, what's happening? Hey, what's happening in the world? What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? Hey, what's happening? Hey, what's happening in the world? What's going on? What's going on? What's going on?
Alrighty, so what is going on in the world? We all kind of started talking about this a little bit before the show. Whether you know who they are or you don't. I clicked on the article because I recognized one name and I did not know the other person. But Amber Rose, who I just know as the anti-slut shaming person. She was had the slut walk and stuff like that. And then she also has slept with a lot of rappers. She has a child with Wiz Khalifa. But she also has apparently
She's
two
with
children.
Kanye for a while.
She was with Kanye. That is
And
kind
she
of
was
what.
bald.
Yeah.
Is she still bald?
I think she
Yeah,
was
she
still
is.
bald, and now
But
she
she
has a
got that
face
face
tattoo.
tattoo.
Yeah. But speaking of face tattoos,
shit.
her new partner, Alexander Edwards, also known as AE. So they have two kids, and he just got a tattoo across the crown of his head. With their birth dates on either side, of his
Kids'
forehead.
birthdays?
The kid's birthday. So we got that.
That kind of looks like a serial number.
It does kind of look weird. It looks a little strange, like you were marked for something that you wouldn't want to be marked for. But when I was reading more into
man.
it,
The
the rapture,
rapture.
he's got the mark of the beast. He's not getting in. But the children's names was what really kind of threw me off. They have two kids. One's name is Sebastian Taylor Edwards, I'm assuming. Sebastian Taylor, his first and middle name. And the second child's name is Slash Electric. Slash Electric. Can you imagine growing up in a house where you had a normal name like Sebastian Taylor, and then the other person that you grew up with that was younger than you, and they were probably just going to be cooler than you, had a sweet name like Slash Electric? And then also, would you ever name your kid something like Slash Electric? Would you ever go that fucking crazy? Would you ever go that
Dude, if
far?
my brother's name was Slash Electric, that would be sort of cool.
That would be kind of cool because you would get the
I would
benefit
probably
of
be
knowing
jealous
somebody.
when I was younger.
Yeah.
That like they had a cooler name than me.
But then when you got in your 20s, you're like, oh, I'm not the douchebag
But,
named
like,
Slash
yeah, but
Electric
you're-
anymore.
I'm Sebastian.
Because a lot of celebrities have really like just strange names, like fucking that one actress fucking named her child Apple. It's just kind of like, all right, you named
Fiona?
it.
Dude, I
Yeah, not
dated a
Fiona.
guy
Apple,
whose name
Apple.
was straight
Apple,
up
Apple.
Blade.
Blade.
His real name is Blade.
Legal. B-L-A-D-E.
B-L-A-D-E was his first
So
name.
if it had been spelled a
And
little
was-
differently.
And he was such like a redneck. So
Yeah?
it was so weird.
What was his last
Awesome.
name? No, I'm
How,
just-
Bauer.
Okay.
how big was his Johnson though?
Did he have a big blade?
I feel like
Did he
I
have
like-
a big blade?
Was he wielding?
to call
Was he
yourself
wielding a
Blade,
big
you gotta
blade?
be like, yeah, they call me Blade.
Oh.
Like your legal
Wait, so-
name, like your family has
I have to
ridiculous
digress
names.
because so we're talking about Slash Electric.
Yeah.
What was the first kid's name again? Because I seriously,
Sebastian Taylor.
Which that name
Sebastian
sucks.
Taylor. That is like seriously like that is like two like bad Americana musicians from the 70s.
Yeah.
Together.
Yeah.
Where it's just like
I was thinking he was named after Sebastian Bach and Taylor guitars. Like that was what he was named after.
Sebastian Bach
And
the
Taylor
Taylor.
Swift.
Has
To
never
dig at
sung that
Kanye.
way.
To dig at Kanye. That's why.
Ah.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
then the thing is, you gotta always think about like the best of two worlds because our buddy, what the hell's his name? Electric.
Slash Electric. Yeah.
He could have been called Slash Acoustic.
Oh.
Could have been way
Oh.
worse than name right there.
Damn. Acoustic. That'd be a terrible. If your name was Acoustic, hello Acoustic. What would your nickname be? Coo? I mean, I would just go Coo or Stick.
Okay, this goes back into like
Stick Man.
like what your parents were fucking to.
Yeah.
And it's just like,
Yeah.
okay, so we have Slash Electric over here. And
This
it was
is
like,
my
it was
brother.
AC/DC, baby. He was pounding my ass. And then you have like Slash Acoustic, which is like,
Yeah.
yo, Jack Johnson came on and
Jack
next thing you
Johnson.
know, I was
And we didn't want to call him Strummy Banana Pancakes, so we went with that
yeah,
instead.
it was Slash
Yeah.
Acoustic, baby.
Slash Acoustic. Would you ever name your kid something ridiculous like that? Like, would you ever take the risk and name your child something absurd? Like, I have a nephew whose name is Axel, and that's like the one that I was kind of like, I enjoy the name. I think it's an awesome name. I don't think it's because of necessarily Axl Rose or Axel
That
Foley,
would be sick.
but
Axel
that is.
Foley would even be
If it's Axel Foley, it's way better. And then my sister doesn't know, and her husband is like, I'm just gonna start playing that song whenever he's around. And that's
Such a
like the
good
most
song,
like different, unique, like overall name. Oh, I do have a nephew named Kinley. That's also they could have settled on
Sounds
names.
like
Irish.
bougie.
Yeah, it sounds Irish. Yeah.
Sounds
His
like a
name-
brawler.
Oh, his full name is not giving you his last name. I won't tell you that. But Kinley, Indiana, is his first and middle name.
Indiana's dope.
Indiana's
though.
great, and I got real mad because I told my brother when I was like 8, I'm like, like one day I'm gonna have a kid and I'm gonna name it Indiana, but first I want to get a dog and name it Indiana, have the dog die,
that's the way
and
to
then
do
have
it,
the kid
yeah.
and go, you were named for the dog every single time he was being don't call me Junior. His name would be Indiana Junior Mocha. That's what I would have named him, and I would have just called him Junior. But it's not my name. Don't call me Junior.
No, see the way you do it is actually call him Junior.
Yeah.
And his middle name would be Indiana.
Yeah,
You're the
Junior
only one who
Indiana.
calls him Indiana. Everybody else calls him Junior.
Reverse
and he
it.
has to be like, don't call me Junior. My name's Indiana.
Yeah.
Like, yo, only
That
at
would
home,
work.
motherfucker.
That would
On your
work.
medicine bottle, it says right here, Indiana Junior.
I think that is the most
And somehow
defining
this
way
ties
to
back
see
to,
what your real
our
name is, your
idea.
medicine bottle. Yeah. Now, okay, the other thing that I made note of this week, surprise, Whitney Houston is making an impossible comeback.
I thought she was dead.
Hologram?
Yes, she is. Holographic performance in Massachusetts, I believe it is. They're doing a full 90-minute live show with a hologram Whitney Houston, but a full live backing band on tour. Or not on tour, but for one performance.
So they're having a vocal track, but a live band play.
But a live band play, and there's going to be a hologram of her from, I'm assuming,
That sounds pretty cool. I'd go
composites.
see it.
Now, my question really is to you, would you go see something like that? And if you could pick any one person to get to go see live that's dead, that you never got a chance to see, who would you like to see in a hologram performance?
I don't know, man.
Can I digress for 1 second?
I want to say
Definitely can digress.
Because the first thing I want to say about even hearing about this, because this is the first I've heard about this. You
Oh, shit.
brief me on
I heard
this.
about
Sorry.
this on the radio earlier on.
But what I'm going to say about it is that this is the first time in that fucking like Chime player's life
Yeah.
that he's ever gotten paid more than Whitney Houston.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Seriously. I mean,
She's
like,
not
she didn't
making
get
a
paid shit.
dime.
Like, what the
Yeah.
hell? I mean, does the estate get
I don't
They
know.
have
Because
to.
her
Yeah.
daughter died too.
From the-
So it's like, who's
Who-
getting
no,
all the
it says
money?
whoever
Leia
gets
projection
the label,
of Whitney
actually.
Houston?
Yeah, the label's
The
getting
label's getting
the
money,
label's
yeah.
getting the money. That is definitely for sure.
For
Someone's
sure.
getting
For
paid.
sure.
Yeah.
Who's your
bro-
Arista? Who the fuck is still around? Arista?
I think in the
Yeah.
chat over here, and thank you everybody. I didn't say it earlier, but thank you everybody for tuning in live and in the future and all of that. But we've got my brother Keith is saying Freddie Mercury. Freddie
I would
Mercury.
agree with that one.
That would be sweet. When I was living
I
in
would still
LA,
do Bowie.
there was a
You talking about living with these people?
no about seeing them live on hologram. But I think my brother would live with Freddie Mercury.
I would love
Yeah,
that.
yeah, it'd be adorable. They'd be cute
just
together.
I would
He's more into the
got
cat. He's
Two
more into the
messages,
cat. We also moved.
Brat Knowles and Kurt Cobain.
Kurt Cobain would be sweet. Knowles would be cool. I think it would be honestly like
For me, it'd probably be the lead Snot as Snot. Do you guys remember that band?
no.
They came out in the new
Not.
Vaguely remember
new
seeing
metal
their logo.
scene, but they were more like hip hop and like soul. Like it was a weird mix of shit. But
Yeah.
Limp Bizkit?
Like
Ooh.
E-Town
no, not
Conflict.
like no, like I don't know.
Forgot
They
what he
were
was saying for a second. I'm like, who in the biscuit's dead? Okay, never mind. Why do we need a hologram
say
Limp
that.
Bizkit?
I said
She
E-Town
said Limp
I would do it
Bizkit.
anyways.
Yeah,
Reference
no.
it is
Yeah, but I just want a hologram. I don't care if Fred's alive.
I
want to see Limp
I just want
Bizkit with a
1999
hologram.
Limp Bizkit. Yeah. I just want to see their
It'd
performance.
actually be
at
cheaper to see a
Woodstock
hologram anyway,
3.
and it's probably better.
Yeah, probably.
Probably.
Honestly,
You can pitch control a hologram, you know?
Yeah.
Dude, like Rage Against the
you can
Machine.
control totally a
Rage Against the
hologram.
Machine is back
Yeah,
on
but,
tour
hey,
now.
but I'm saying,
As a
what if
hologram.
it's as a hologram?
Yeah. I would say, would
Maybe
you
those
go
ticket
see
prices
would you
would
go
be
see a tour of a hologram if it was like
what if
like,
they didn't tell you and you didn't know and you went and then
exactly.
you found out later?
At some point you're gonna
Would
have
you
that.
be pissed?
Now I would no,
Like, I
because
wouldn't figure it out.
if it was
Like,
that
it's
good
that good?
Yeah,
I
it's
would
not
be
good.
stoked
Yeah,
that
have
I
no
was in a
fucking
room with
idea.
that great of technology and I can tell my kids, yeah, back in the day they actually had real people perform live and I saw the first time ever that didn't happen. Like I would take ownership of that. But I would say for me, the one that I would love to see, and I'm kind of using one person to cheat my way into 3 people. I would want to see a hologram performance of Roy Orbison only doing Traveling Wilburys, so I also get Tom Petty and I also get fucking George Harrison and then real Bob Dylan and real Jeff Lynne. That's what I want. I want that performance across the stage. Because Jeff Lynne and Bob Dylan, they don't really interact with people. They're kind of
True.
all like in their own world.
Yeah.
So then other people might as well be holograms. I see that.
Can I just have David Bowie doing the Labyrinth soundtrack?
Oh, yeah, that'd be a good
Like,
one.
Ooh, Bowie would
but
be a...
with the puppets.
I honestly wouldn't
and
believe
that
that
means
it
Jim
wasn't
Henson
Bowie.
would have to be there.
I would think that
Yeah.
Bowie like went underground for like 5 years to come out to fake a hologram. That's what I would
Right?
think of him. That'd be pretty sweet. Zach, anybody that you would want to go see?
At this show next week, where your hologram.
Oh, you want to see me as a...
Yeah.
What does that say about me?
That's
not good.
Cool.
That's not good. All right. Well, something that is going to be good. We have a wonderful new single called Social Trails from PhillyGreen, our good friends in PhillyGreen. We featured them last year, but this is their first time being featured over an actual visual platform, you know? We were just a stupid audio podcast a year ago.
Idiots.
Fucking morons. Dumb past, Kyle. What were you thinking? But you can check them out if you like what you hear. PhillyGreen, check them out this Friday at Kung Fu Necktie.
What?
Kung Fu Necktie, yeah. Kung Fu Necktie in Philly. You can find them on Instagram for more information at PhillyGreen Band. And we'll be showing the flyer while we play their song. Again, this is Social Trails. Enjoy from PhillyGreen. We'll be seeing you guys in just a couple of minutes.
Got my shoes tight so I can walk in a straight line. Got my mirrors just right so I can see you from behind. Getting in line, I simply don't have the time. time to sweep under my bed. Pull the sheets real tight so my vision is blinded. Practice breathing with the heart of a stone. Skin is bleeding for a touch that's like gold. But I don't know where to go. Traveled this path before, starting to make my own. But I don't know where to go. Pull me down from this mountaintop I've been on. I lost sight of the ground in the clouds, but now the white is sitting out. Let's run away to your favorite place to be, or just get lost. We can drive till it's dark and we don't know where we are. It makes sense in your pen. There's more words in my head. Let's rewrite our stories. Could you sign my big pen of yours? But I don't know where to go. Traveled this path before, starting to make my own. But I don't know where to go. Bask in the glow of the city light. You fit in just right. Watch you step on the long walk home. Enjoy your time alone. I'll take it as it comes. No sense in rushing love. And if you make your own road, I hope to see you in home.
Alrighty, there you have it. That is the single Social Trails from PhillyGreen. Again, you can check them out this Friday at Kung Fu Necktie. I don't want to mispronounce it as Kung Fu once again. Although, if you opened up a rival venue called Kung Fu Necktie, that'd be kind of funny. Maybe you probably want to attract a lot of people.
Just sell faux.
Just sell faux.
Yeah, don't even have shows.
No
Go
shows.
right down the street. And
Just
just
faux.
confuse people.
Yeah. But spell faux wrong. Spell it F-A-U-X. Well, what do you guys tell here? Faux. And it's imitation faux. We're getting somewhere on this. All right. So this week we recorded once again another addition to our album, EP, whatever you want to call it. The Epitome of Definition.
Yep.
If you are unfamiliar, every single week we get together around 5 o'clock. We started a little earlier today, thinking that this was a massive undertaking. But we write, record, mix, and master a song from scratch. And then we premiere it here. The first time everybody listens to it all the way through as it is finalized is here on the show.
You're listening finalized with us because we haven't heard it.
We haven't heard it. Now, usually we start the song around 5 o'clock, and Zach is working on it until we're live and sometimes after we are live. We started this about 4 o'clock.
Yeah.
For reasons that I'll let Zach get into, that we wanted to start it earlier. Again, it felt like a big undertaking, and we finished the song. It was done and exported at 7:30. So we have had an hour and a half before going live where we didn't know what to do. I thought we should like go out or something like that.
Yeah.
I had no idea what the hell was going on. But I just lost me in my ears. I don't know if anybody else lost anything.
Myself in my
Yeah, I just lost all ears.
Yeah.
Just so you're aware. Not sure if something came loose, but I just hear my normal self talking right now. But either way, everybody else can hopefully still hear. If you can't hear us, say something in the chat, please, right now.
I mean, I hear
Listen
you
to me.
still.
Okay,
I
you're
hear
good.
you in my ears.
All right, so I just lost my ear, so we're good with that.
You don't. Wait, who else was it?
I mean, we can hear each other.
You can hear each other. Yeah, you're good.
You
Yeah,
can't hear
we're
anything
gone.
at all?
Yeah, I'm gone.
Yeah, he's out.
Weird.
So either way, well, I'll throw it over to Zach.
Oh, no, I'm lost.
Yeah, we're all lost. We
that's back.
now I'm back. Now I'm
Good?
back. I hear me. I hear
Everybody
me.
good?
Checkity, check,
Yeah,
check.
I
The
hear
Chinese
Hello?
chicken. Yeah.
You still not?
I'm
Still not. All right. Live technical difficulties. Now, Zach, what was the title of the song for this week, and what was the idea behind what you created?
What was the title?
Counterpoint.
Counterpoint. I wanted
better?
to do.
Nothing. I don't know.
I don't know. I'm like half in.
I
half
mean,
out.
it's somewhere on these lines.
So,
here.
yeah, we're good.
I can hear you guys talking.
We're fine.
Yeah.
We're fine.
It's all good.
I
All
can
right.
hear it.
So counterpoint.
We had a lot of time off between when we finished this one
Yeah.
and right now.
So Zach is more inebriated than he usually is. So talking about things is not his forte.
We played the song in two different parts of the song. There's 3 time signatures going at the same time.
Yep.
So like the drums and bass are one, and then guitars and synths are 2 other ones, and then
The vocals are different, right?
the vocals are sort of in and out of both of them.
Yeah. I went weird with them. So the whole idea of counterpoint was the idea of having 2 opposing melodies happening at the same time that worked together, but worked together and worked alone at the same time.
Oh, the
So-
headphones are good now.
Yeah, I got mine now. I
Yeah, I
can hear.
just turned it down.
Yeah.
I'm
Okay. No,
crispy.
yeah. We're good.
Was that the issue?
yeah,
You guys
I-
hear that?
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yep. It was just the volume button.
For our end.
Oh, that's weird.
But I thought it was too loud before.
Oh, okay, we're good. So
I mean,
so
you guys are loud
counterpoint.
in my ear.
So this was the most complicated one we've done
Yeah.
so far. And I thought this was going to be real fucking hard to achieve. And maybe if it doesn't sound good, it is real hard to achieve, and we thought we hit it, but we didn't.
They're gonna fail once in a while. We do one every week, you know.
True.
We're bound to get a stinker.
But
I don't
it's-
think we've had any, but I'm biased.
I mean, let's
And
see.
an asshole.
Let's see.
Let's see.
Let's
We'll
see.
see.
There's
We'll
only
let
one
you
way to
guys be
find
the
out.
judges.
There's
There's
only
only
one
one
way
way.
to find
Now, so as far as lyrically, what we did here is there are 2 separate verses happening at the same time. There are 2 separate verses happening twice. And the idea was there was a counterpoint, and then so there had to be a point to that counterpoint. Otherwise, that just don't make no sense. So I wrote 1 song's worth of lyrics from the point of view of a person in a relationship with a shitty person who's just really fucking lazy and really fucking selfish, and they just need to get out, and they're like trying to
Sure.
warn them that you're gonna lose me. And then the other song that I wrote a 2nd song's worth of lyrics from the point of view of the selfish, lazy asshole who just thinks that the person that they're conversing with is just trying to keep them down. It's just trying to keep them, keep their, talents at bay or something along those lines. So it's the idea of an argument happening between 2 people, one of those really bad couple arguments where you were both shouting at each other at the same time, and you're not even really fighting about the same thing, but at the end of it you kind of realize, oh shit, we have there's the same issue. So the idea of the there's a counterpoint, and then there's the point. So I guess the person who's really in the right is the point, and most of the forward music and the louder stuff is from the counterpoint. Justin, as far as drumming, how was this one? This seemed like another
fun.
kind of simple, fun one for you.
Yeah, I mean, it was easier for me. It was just 4/4. I think you told me that you wanted 30 repetitions of
So, yeah, it's
4/4.
30... In the 2 verses, it's 30 measures of 4/4 for the drums and the bass.
Okay.
And then the one part is, 24 measures of 5/4, Then the other part is 20 measures of 6/4.
Okay.
But all played at the same time. It all comes out to the
And again,
same amount of time.
this is our math rock EP, album that we are putting out
so
right now.
things sound like come in funny,
Yeah.
but like that.
They
But
all
by the
mix.
end of it, it's,
Hopefully, they all mix together.
Hopefully
From
it
what,
works
wild
from
out.
what we
song.
heard, it is a wild song. So yeah, let's not delay any further. Let's jump right into it. Again, the title of this song is Counterpoint. It is our 5th of 6. You'll have to come back next week to hear the final song because we don't know what it is yet.
Continuous.
Of the Epitome of Definition. Well, what time did we come in at on this guy?
It's under 6.
Under 6 minutes. A good pop song.
could've been
Still.
5:18.
It could have been 12 minutes if I
Yeah.
really had wanted it.
Yeah,
I mean, we cut
But I
off.
we
We
cut off
did
a
cut
little
off.
part.
We cut a lot
All
of
right,
it.
so we'll jump right into it. Here is Counterpoint, our Brunch Weekly Original Single off the Epitome of Definition. We'll see you guys in just over 5 minutes. Enjoy.
You think you can come and go as you please. In and out, I'm just a man of our I'm not gonna change. You chose to cheat. Close to side, it's getting weak, getting weak, getting weak. This close to losing weak, getting weak, getting weak. You're this close to losing me, getting weak. You're this close to losing me, getting weak, getting weak. are constantly dragging me down. You are constantly dragging me down. You will never let me live this one down. You only look out for yourself. You will never let me live this one down. You only look out for yourself.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome our next guest on Kyle Mocha Won't Shut Up.
Alrighty, welcome back again. That was our Brunch Weekly Original Single, and joining us now in the main camera, we are joined by Jen and SteveO of SteveO and the Crippling Addictions, or the Crippling Addictions, or SteveO ampersand the Crippling Addictions. Look for all of them, or at least look the Crippling Addictions, and you should be able to get there.
Or you just might get some self-help.
Yeah, you might get some self-help as well. Now, you guys are I mean, I saw you for the first time play as this group when you opened for Bigwig, and two guys that were at that show joined us on the episode like 5 days later. It was our buddy Dom Trimboli and Dennis Andreevich. And they were all at the show, and we were just sitting here talking, and I was like, yeah, I need to get them on the fucking show. It was, that show for me was just a really, really awesome feeling of like, oh, remember when this used to just happen all the time? Like, remember when we just had fun, and there was a good show because it was all local bands. Like, it was all local bands. It was you guys. It was Don't Panic. We had The Crowning, and then Bigwig, which for all of us back in the day, they were our local big band. I mean, they might be from fucking New Jersey, but we claimed them for sure. So I'm really stoked to have you guys on. I might even get stoked having you guys on. There's going to be a lot of really bad. There's going to be a lot of really, really bad throw-ins in there. This whole show might get slightly askew. But I just said them. But don't panic. All right, this is gonna get good. It would be a holy mess. Greek favorites. All right, yeah, that one doesn't fit in anywhere, so we just have to throw it out there. Kids. I wonder how long we could feasibly keep that going.
I haven't had a jerk reaction yet.
You haven't? Oh my god. I don't know what the percentage is, but we'll just, split 50. So, shortwave radio. There's nowhere to fit shortwave radio in there either. Oh my god. But, I mean, as made evident by those dumb jokes and the 8 people out there that understood all of that.
Dude, as made evident would have been a good name.
As made evident? Would have been better than Aspen Heights. All right, there we go.
That's a little bit of indecent exposure.
Oh, no. I'm getting cottonmouth. DN. I might just go outside and crush a pile. Okay. Seriously, 3 people are happy right now. There are 3 people, and I think we're all in this room.
You are really raking the muck through.
What a Maxwell demon you are. So obviously, SteveO, you and I have the kind of the local scene in common. We both are from different parts of the scene. I grew up in Bushkill, and we had like one band, and that is our super producer EJ 5000, his band Straight and Upright. They were like the band that connected us to the scene. That's what got us into Stroudsburg. All of us kids, everybody that was on the soccer team with them or in school, plays with them, we followed them to Toast, and that was our first introduction. We missed Bismos by a few years. My sister was in the Bismo years, but we had Toast around here, and the first time I ever saw you play locally was with Split 50 back in the day, and I remember. How many bases do you think you broke on stage as a member of Split 50?
Oh, shit.
Because that would be like, we would be taking bets like, is he going to break it this time? Is he going to break it this time? And I feel like more times than not, they got destroyed.
I was, at that point in my life, I was young, dumb, and full of rum.
Yeah.
And the thing was, you always felt like you're going to be successful the next weekend.
Yep.
So in that $250 Mexican P-Base
Yeah.
era, it was quite easy to smash them thinking you were always going to get a new one. I just never got a new one.
Yeah.
So I was always in the hole, $250 after I did.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it looked cool from what I've heard.
Yeah. No, it looked
From what
great.
I've heard,
I
it
was
looked
at.
awesome.
Do you remember there was the show in the in the I guess it was called the Sanctuary, the Over the Edge basement, where when under the edge, yeah, when they put up the blockade to separate from the people in the bands, they literally had like a wooden blockade that had like spikes on the end of it to stop people
I do recall it.
Yeah.
It was it was a different scene.
It was a very different scene. It was a very different scene.
When you had to actually protect the band with blades.
Yeah, wooden blades.
Yeah, like it was.
It was intense. But I remember being at one of those shows.
It was in the basement of the Sanctuary. It was not in a tent.
Yeah, it was not in a tent. You were right. It was indoors. It was indoors. But yeah, I remember like seeing you back then and all those shows. But then I also have a thing that I don't know if you'll remember this, but I was trying to think back to like obviously like I knew you because you were in a band, and I knew you because some people I knew you. But there was one instance where we hung out about 16 years ago. One time. And
I'm running the Rolodex right now.
all right. And it was a name that was brought up earlier in a band that we've already referenced. I was really good friends with Skip McDougal, a.k.a. John Noah Worrell. He was living at my house over the holidays because he didn't have, people around. And so he was staying with us for the holidays. And he goes, hey, I'm going to meet a bunch of people at Walmart. We're going to play Manhunt in the Walmart. Do you want to go? And I was like, sure. So I show up to Walmart, and you and Jesse, who I just knew was vegan at that point, and a bunch of other people, I have no idea who they were. We were like, okay, and my younger brother Craig, we all went. We split up teams, and we went into Walmart, like separating each other by like 3 minutes. One was the hiders and one was the hunters, and it was basically this giant game of like hide and go seek in Walmart. And you wind up hiding underneath the bike rack, like where all the bikes are like put up. And you've been moving around, and you like we're like hiding from one place to another, and you slid underneath there. And unbeknownst to you, in that giant tower of like bouncy balls that they have, I was in the middle of all of the bouncy balls. So I saw you, and I knew you were on my team. So I was just like, after about 20 minutes of nobody finding us, I just went like, hey, do you think the game is still happening? You were like, I don't know. And I'm like, I don't think it's happening anymore. And we confirmed we were on the same team, and we both like snuck out of our spots, and we walked outside to find everybody all corralled around one of the like cart corrals, and they had all been thrown out of Walmart for playing Manhunt, and they had actually tackled my 16-year-old brother. A secret shopper thought he was shoplifting because he's being all like sneaky, like oh. So Craig gets full tackled right in front of Skip, and I was like, "This is fucking nuts." And then we were all like, "All right," and we just split up, and like went our separate ways, and that was it. So that is the first time I have any like real recollection of it going basically for me from the stage to from the screen to your stereo, no, from the stage to your life, of knowing you as like a person that wasn't just a cool punk rock dude that was smashing basses all the time. Now,
I have a story like that.
Yeah.
That must have been. I was 16, 13 years ago.
I'm on the grill right now. All right,
There
all right,
was-
let's go.
So
It
was the first night I had my license. I was 16. There was a house show somewhere in Mount Pocono, and Holy Mess was playing. And I was the first person playing that night. I played like an acoustic set of like shitty punk rock covers. But it was the first night I was out driving by myself. Like I had a license, I had a Civic, and I was doing fucking e-brake turns in this guy's yard. Wherever we were playing at. It was a fucking shithole. And then I like
always were.
So I played, and then while the next band was setting up, I went upstairs in the kitchen. There was you and the rest of the band. And you guys got me fucking drunk.
Yeah, we were known for
And
so his first night
And it
of
was-
being a driver.
first night of being a driver that I
He
drove
learned how to
myself
drive.
a show. I fucking hammered with you guys. Because I'm 16. I was just like,
Yeah.
holy fuck.
So and the crazy thing
How
is like
hammered were we? It's like I
Yeah.
don't know. I mean, there's a good batch of years there where I can like pick out a few good things that happen.
Yeah.
But a lot of times it's just like, dude, the party was the party was the party.
Yeah.
So a lot of times if I'm telling a story, I'm just like, oh yeah, remember that one time, that party? And it's always, for me, the same party.
Yeah.
However, it is vast.
It's spread out over 30 houses and 500 people.
But for me, it's just like, it's a living room and a bunch of people hanging out.
Yeah.
So it's just
you
like,
pick one that was the most comfortable, the one you liked the most.
That's the party where everything happened.
Uh-huh.
It transcends friends, it transcends years.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it is just the one.
You ever find yourself telling a story about one of those nights and then someone goes, no, dude, I was there and I was not nearly as fucked up as you, and this is what happened? You ever get corrected by those?
Dude, I love when people do it.
Because you're like, oh, now I know exactly what happened.
Jesse is the best guy for that because Jesse is both vegan and straight edge.
Yeah.
And Jesse is like the black box of the plane. Like it is like seriously.
True.
Where it's just like
he's small. He always wears black. It makes sense.
Yeah, and when I fall off, it's just like, dude, let me correct with the black box. Where did the plane land then? Let's really see what happened in this flight plan.
Yeah.
And it really works out really well.
I Amelia Earharted myself last night again. I'm gonna need.
I don't know why I'm here, but Jess, can you tell me?
Yeah. I think I went Malaysia flight over here for a little bit, and I need you to be recovered.
There were Sam's coming all around. I didn't know what the hell was happening, man. I was getting shot at from the ground, but I got it. We landed hard, but damn, dude, how did we get here?
Yeah, how did we? Now, speaking kind of in honestly in that way, we remember you from being young kids in the scene and you being in a band. But the funny thing is, like, you're only like 3, 4, or 5 years older than 6 years older than him. You're younger than him, and you're only 3 years older than me. But in my head, when I was 16 going to a show. When you're 16, the guy who's 19 playing in a band because he's been doing it for the last couple of years has like a little bit of a step up. So for you growing up around here, and then Jen, I'm sorry, I know we're ignoring you.
Totally.
We're
totally
fanboying out.
Yeah, totally fine. I'm not from anywhere near here.
But for both of you, though, this question: were there people growing up in the scene that like you were involved in that you were exposed to? That you kind of looked at and went, oh shit, like when I was 15, that was the guy, like that was the guy that I loved.
I have the story for this, and it is seriously, like, for me, I grew up in Pleasant Valley High School.
Okay.
And so, like, our punk scene was pretty minimal at best. So when we were able, like, like some people come around, like, spread flyers for shows or what have you.
Yeah.
And then, like, you'd, like, show up, and it'd be, like, it would be, like, a basement in Stroudsburg. It'd be, like, and this is even pre-Underworld. It'd be Bismos. It'd be
Terry.
The Karma Club. Oh, Terry, dude.
Yeah,
Biker Shores. This. Loch Ness. Yeah. So anyway, like for me, like actually one of my biggest influences in the whole thing, and I think he has a kid now and is no way involved in anything, but Josh Marsh from the Overdrives. Was for me as a youth, as a teenager.
Richie was in that, right?
Which Richie? There was a bunch of Richies.
Crutch?
Not Richie Crutch.
Richie
I don't think it was Richie Crutch. I know Evan, who's playing in Wisdom, was in the Overdrives for a short time. I don't know the whole etymology of the band.
Yeah.
But long story short, it was like, dude, I saw like Josh Marsh up there, and it was like, dude, like this dude has a full sleeve of tattoos. Why can't I have a full sleeve of tattoos?
Yeah. And
it was like, not that I have great tattoos, but it was like one of those things where it's like, fuck, dude, I want to do that shit too. And it was like, and then when I heard the songs, not in no way discounting the Overdrive. I think that Too Far to Turn Back is still an incredible album.
Yeah.
It's in my top 10. But the thing about it for me was just like, wait, I can do this.
Yeah.
It wasn't like, you know what I mean? Like I saw
it was the gateway to you going, you're not like some rare super genius. You're a guy who knows what he likes and is writing music that he wants to play. I just need to know how to play something, and I can do that.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, it wasn't like a super stardom thing. It was just like, oh shit, dude. Like these guys are playing this shit. I kind of have like, I have a shitty guitar my aunt got me.
Yeah.
Like I have these riffs. Like, and I was just like, oh shit, I can do this too.
Yeah.
And then like, lo and behold, later on I joined Split 50 before I did it on my own. But
But
it was like. It was a.
So was that your first band there that you were like a solid bass player for or a solid musician in? Was Split 50 the first time that you were like listed amongst 4 or 5 other guys as the member of a band?
I had high school bands and shit, but it was like it was like always a rotating cast every week.
Yeah.
It was just like who the fuck wants to get high this week and jam guitars.
Gotcha. Yeah.
So it was like like high school bands like. Split 50 was the first time I had to deal with like real being in a band shit.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't say that it was always positive, but the thing was, I learned a lot of what not to do.
Yeah.
It is a good way to put it.
Failing is one of the best lessons you can ever have, is learning what not to do, for sure.
And the other thing is I met Yasko, because Yasko shortly thereafter like quit to join Bigwig.
Yeah, dude.
We didn't reconnect.
That was scene drama in our world.
Oh, dude, that was big. That was like the Kardashians.
Oh,
dude.
my God.
Was big scene
we were
drama,
like, dude, he's getting called up to the big leagues. He's going to play with Bigwig. Like, this is ridiculous.
Bigwig back at the time. Oh, my God.
Yeah. But that wonderful transition brought us all into the wonderful world of Michael Luchetti, and that was, that fucking man.
That dude's still one of the best drummers I ever played with, dude.
I love just watching his videos that he's put up on YouTube like a decade ago. His stick spinning skills, that
Is he
motherfucker.
playing on a cruise ship now?
Yeah, he's on a cruise ship. He's doing I think he's doing like swing music. He's doing all sorts of things. That guy.
Swing music back then.
Oh my God,
I remember Split 50 delved into swing a little bit.
We recorded when I was the manager of My Steady Backfire. We recorded with him, and his mom was my sister's like third grade teacher. So like I knew like of the family and everything like from way back. But he was a real cool guy to hang out with. But just at the end of every recording session, I'd be like, Can you play drums? Can you just? I just want to watch you play drums. You were absurd.
Dude, he was crazy. Like he would do triplets on the kit without even fucking around with a double pedal.
Yeah.
Where all the kids of the age were all fucking with double pedals.
Yes, they were.
And he was just like fucking triplets on the kit. Like just like that, dude.
It was mesmerizing. It was one of the more entertaining things to watch. Like, and when you got a good drummer, I mean, I think we all feel that way when you have a good drummer that you can sit there and watch. And you have a great drummer that I love to watch in Cliff.
We do.
Cliff is so fucking ridiculous.
We are so benefited. It's a real bummer he's not here tonight. The thing
he's
with
also
Cliff
the funniest one of all of us.
Oh, he's fucking nuts. So I love that boy.
And besides that, it's like Cliff is like my little brother, man. Like from like back in the day, like back when Cliff was but a youth playing in Precedent. If you remember Precedent.
I don't know.
Precedent was like, dude, him.
Oh, Precedent?
Yeah. The propaganda sounding band.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't realize that he was a part of that. Okay.
Yeah, he was the drummer. And
damn.
And back then he was having like trouble at home, and me and Jesse actually put in to adopt him.
Damn.
To have him come live at the castle with us.
Yeah.
And not be like involved with his home life, because his home life was really sucking. And that's one thing is like Cliff will always say, like when he like will post something on the internet or say that he's my son. It's actually closer to home than you actually think.
Oh, it's wonderful.
Because of the fact that we may or may not.
But he walked me down the aisle when we got married. Yeah.
Aww.
So when we got married, Cliff, because I don't have a dad, so I had Cliff step in to be my dad.
That's
wonderful. Which I'm older than Cliff, so it doesn't make sense.
Now, Jen,
but it was
for
fun.
you growing up, what was the scene like? You grew up, you said you lived in Detroit and then Chicago. What was the scene? Were you into the punk rock scene at that point?
I mean, but the thing is, Detroit was more of a hardcore scene at the time.
Kind of makes sense.
And we had Negative Approach, Razzle Dazzle, which is like my favorite fucking band on earth. If you're not familiar, you should be.
Yeah, I don't know them. I'm just gonna have to go
Razzle Dazzle
the
is
lexicon
basically
of my brain of things
all,
to listen to.
It's all just about being stoned and like eating pizza and like just like partying.
Right.
I wouldn't have liked it then.
Yeah,
I'm
fucking amazing.
Now.
Fast as fuck. Like honestly, each album is under 20 minutes.
Nice.
Fast as fuck hardcore.
With like 17 songs on it, or
it's like 10 songs, and it's like they're talking
just
about
brutal.
There's
like,
a song where they're straight up
face.
just like naming that's like there's a song that's just is foods that are round, and they just talk about like it starts like bagels, pizza. Foods that are round, pancakes, waffles. That's how we get down. Like, and that's like, good. But so it's and the whole thing is just they're all just talking about being stoned. But like like our whole scene was pretty tough. Like, punk wasn't really a thing. Like I remember the first time I even went to go see Against Me. It was in 2002.
Okay.
And I didn't understand that people weren't like beating the shit out of each other because that's how hardcore it was.
Yeah.
And like I grew up with
I stood at the back
of
a lot of those rooms wearing my camo shorts like a good
and like
soldier.
I watched all these people and I thought like the whole time it's like like I got called every name in the book. But the one person that actually stood out to me the most was when Walls of Jericho started.
Yeah.
And Candace, I became friends with her, and she became like a mentor to me. She
Hell
was like,
yeah.
she was everything in the world that
And
I
this
wanted
is
to be.
all still Detroit.
Yeah, this is all in Detroit. So in when I met her, she was actually, this is when she joined Courage Crew. And she was the only woman they ever let in that, which I was straight edge. Which, funny enough, I am not now.
I was until like 19, you know. And the harder the edge, the harder the fall.
I actually stopped I became straight edge when I was 18. From 18 to 22, I was straight edge. But she was like the biggest influence in the world, because like you just watch this fucking little tiny woman who's strong as fuck and just dominating a room, and her voice was so powerful, and I always wanted to be like her. And like but that's like it, like I don't know, the Detroit scene was one of those places where it was like put up or shut up.
Yeah.
You couldn't just like show up and it wasn't as lax as like what like the Philly scene and any of these ones seemed like it was like no, like it was like hard. Like I don't know how many times I got the shit kicked out of me at this point.
Damn.
Like, you know.
Now, so you were in Detroit, and then when did you relocate to Chicago? What age were you
So
around?
I moved to, actually moved to St. Louis first. My whole family is from Chicago. So I split, my summers were in Chicago, my winter, like, you know,
did you get exposed to the punk rock in Chicago at all? Because I know there was
of course.
a really
like,
good
with
scene
obviously,
back then.
like, Alkaline Trio and everything.
Exactly.
Yeah, of
like
course.
The big guys from that era.
And I've known Matt and all of them forever.
Hell yeah.
Like,
so it's that pretty, it's still a tight scene.
It
like,
is.
A band that came out of a bigger city, because like for us sitting here and like talking to SteveO, it's like talking to somebody that like, again, I went to shows every week, and chances are you were in one of the bands that were playing that week. Was it the same, like, was it still grassroots feeling? Maybe not every week, but like you got to know everybody in the same way.
You don't really get to know everybody until like when I fully moved to Chicago. Like, when I was old enough, like, when I was younger, I didn't understand it. So, like, when Alkaline Trio starting out, and Rise Against, and all of those bands, I was going to see those bands, like, even the Smoking Popes and all that shit.
Love the Popes.
I would go and see those bands, but I was too young. Like, I'm only 31.
Okay.
So I didn't really understand.
Yeah, because that kind of hit was like the 97 to like 2000,
I was
2001.
too young for it.
Yeah.
Where like I was living, and then I lived in St. Louis for a while, and then when I moved to Chicago, that's when like the scene like really started up with, I guess, like all like the indie punk like fest type bands.
Okay.
And then like, you know, like Kali Mossy, Typesetter, Turn Spit, and all of those bands started getting big, and everybody, but we were so supportive of each other. And that's the one thing that Chicago had, was that with like the punk scene, we all, every night of the week you went to a show.
Yeah.
I used to actually run a house venue, actually weirdly enough called the Schoolhouse.
Nice.
And we would have like beach slang played at our house. Like we, you know, Elway. Like you had like Elway, Sour Boy, Bitter
awesome.
Girl. Like, I mean, you were invited there at one point before we met. He was invited there too. But yeah, we had, but so we always had like a shit ton of bands, and everybody, but the thing is, like, if there was something going on, you would text somebody and be like, hey, what are you doing? And this is even in my early mid-20s. What are you doing? Oh, there's a show at blah blah. Cool, I've never heard of that band, but I'll come anyway.
Yeah.
And that's how Chicago was.
That's
so
the sign
supportive.
of a healthy scene, because I remember back in the day when we had a good scene up until a certain place opened in downtown Strasbourg that didn't necessarily keep things living very well. And we might have rocked against a couple of things as well. But we all of a sudden had like no scene, but when I was like younger, it was like what's going on tonight? Oh, it's a Wednesday and there's a random show. Like we would have like, what was that? Fucking All American Rejects played on a Thursday night at Toast, and there were like 12 people in the room, and my buddy Randy and I, like our friend Joe Faree was the one that was booking at that point. Randy. But Joe Faree was booking Toast at that point. He actually took over our buddy, our producer Eric was doing the booking for like a year or so. And then Joe took over. Now Joe's like running R5 and like runs.
Oh, dude, Joe's ridiculous now, dude. Like Joe's like he's running Made in America Fest. Last I checked.
Yeah,
he's the guy booking Jay-Z.
Yeah,
like he's.
I talked to him when the Movie Life went through the upstairs room at whatever his fucking place. What's that
Somebody
place in
knocking?
Philly? No, it's me tapping my
Fillmore.
beer.
Oh, okay.
The Fillmore.
What
There we
the
go.
fuck?
The upstairs at the Fillmore. Sorry,
you're
that was
good.
me. That was me nervous tapping because I couldn't
Alright.
remember the name.
I'm like, somebody
Fillmore.
at the back door.
I
Like,
got
what
you.
the
Just give me like a second.
Yeah, I got back up here. But we saw Movie Life, and fucking Travis from Piebald played solo opening for him, and it was really weird and funny. And then I went up to him and I'm like talking to him afterwards, told him I was gonna be there, and we're just like bullshitting for a little bit. And I was like, so like this is fucking awesome, man. Like this is bands that like we talked about like wanting to book back in the day. He goes, yeah, it's cool. The hip hop scene's just way better. And he's like, that's just what I'm doing now. He's like, it's like I can book one person and have 1,000 people show up and just fucking like crush a night, as opposed to going, hey, remember this band from 17 years ago? They're playing with Senses Fail, and hopefully you show up for it.
Dude,
And,
hip hop guys blow money.
Yeah.
They just blow money crazy. Like we were doing our record out in Chicago, and that guy Tyga, you remember Tyga? And the bar right down the street was like the recording studio was right here. The bar was like right here. And
Was it at Cubby Bear?
I don't know if anybody can see that, but it's like seriously like this far. And
I think it's at the Cubby Bear.
and the thing about it is that like Tyga's bus showed up, but not only Tyga's bus, because he had a rap on his bus that said Tyga on it. But they had like 3 other buses that showed up, and he was the one guy playing. And you're just like, dude, these guys just like fucking like blow money. It's like ridiculous.
Yeah.
So they have all rap buses show up for the thing. There's a line around the room now, like around the whole bar. So I'm in the bar drinking, and there's a line of like fans of Tyga, like around the bar, like completely circumventing the bar. And he's just like, I can't get in or out of this place. I can't even smoke a cigarette.
Yeah.
And so I'm just like, well, I might as well just post up because this is gonna be a while.
I'm just gonna chill here for a bit.
But it's like you see, the thing is they also bring the people to make the raps make it worth it.
Yeah.
So, and not the raps, but like the raps on the buses. And you're just like, how the fuck are you paying for this kind of shit?
Yeah, that's absurd.
And it's just like, but dude, they have the draw, dude. It's like one guy.
Yeah.
I saw Stitches in Philadelphia. Like, remember Stitches?
I love selling blood.
Yeah, dude, I saw him. Dude, I saw him in Philly one time. He came. Most juggalos I've ever seen. Most juggalos I've ever seen a show.
Besides our show.
Besides our
Doing
last show
scale.
with Green Jelly. But that is,
I was gonna ask about that.
Yeah.
I was gonna
many
ask about
juggalos.
We'll get to that. But
sword
with
fights.
Stitches it was kind of the same thing, where it's just like a lot of juggalos in the room, a lot of fights breaking out, and nobody's there to play. Like Stitches isn't even there. Showed up an hour and a half late.
Oh Jesus!
Showed up, played 3 songs, threw a bunch of hats to the audience, and was done.
Damn.
And the dude was rolling in full tour gear, like the whole bus.
Yeah.
The whole line, and I'm just like, that's all it takes.
That's
I was
all
like,
it
Jesus Christ, I'm in the
Yeah.
wrong line of wait.
Yeah, you are. Oh my God.
So needless to say, we're becoming a rap group.
Yeah, that works. That works.
Yeah, so
You
guys
gonna
got some
start calling it
beats.
the Crippling?
No, we got
Yeah.
beats. We definitely got beats.
And
That's
we'll
what
and
we
we'll
wear
be wearing-
red
we'll be wearing-
or blue.
Dude, we'll be out.
Which one's Crip?
Just wear purple.
The
Be
Crips are
neutral.
blue, the Bloods
Oh,
are
so
blue.
it means
dude.
we wear
Yeah, you
blue.
gotta fly blue.
Also,
the
we're
Crip
the
side, dude.
Crippling addiction.
Yeah, the
Crippling.
Crippling. Snoop Dogg.
I
was
see
just
what
on
you
our
did
next
there.
record.
Yeah. Oh my God.
I got beats for y'all.
Yeah, he's got
I-
the beats.
I make a
all
lot of
good.
hip hop music.
Yeah, these 2 guys put out a hip hop album like a year and a half ago.
Yeah,
Oh, you
the
don't wanna
main
hear about
music I
his?
make is hip hop.
Yeah, I've been working on hip hop, but the thing is this. Let's talk about Lil Pocono.
Oh, dude.
Oh my God.
Lil Pocono. Zach, have you seen it at all?
The video?
Yeah. Oh my God.
Yeah, that's all.
Yeah.
Apparently he's
Hey,
getting.
dude, I'm not gonna lie.
But
I like it.
Yeah,
I
it's
think
fun.
it's
I
good.
do too.
It's fun,
And-
man.
Good.
And the thing is, the fact is, the guy is repping a town that like
Nobody
I don't
gives a
even
shit
rap,
about.
dude. Like for real.
Yeah.
Like, it's
Yeah.
like, and the dude is fucking not only repping the town, but doing it well.
Dude.
I have no.
I heard he was getting into some shit because he filmed in front of the Burger King sign and other businesses were in the background. And people were like, oh, you didn't get permission, blah, blah, blah. And it's just kind of like.
Are you kidding?
And,
Who
and his
cares?
response was basically like, yo, I'm trying to bring attention to a place that no one's trying to bring attention to. Go fuck yourselves. Like,
Yeah,
fuck you.
what the fuck?
Oh
Who
my God.
cares?
It'd be great. Like, we've had a handful of, like, successful people in all lines of music.
Sure.
I mean, G.E. Smith from G.E. Smith and the Saturday Night Live band graduated from Stroudsburg High School, and he ran the Saturday Night Live band all through the 80s, all through the 90s, up until like the late 90s, early 2000s. and he's an Eastburg or a Stroudsburg fucking graduate. Like, we've had people like back in the day, Toby and Kev, Solution AD, they made it out. They got fucking.
I mean, there
on
was a big
VH1.
music scene.
There
here
was.
for a long
Like,
time,
we
man.
even had fucking Bob
Pocono
DeRoe.
Duo.
Yeah, Pocono Duo, those guys, yeah. We had Bob DeRoe, the guy who created fucking Schoolhouse Rock, was living in Delaware Water Gap for the last 30 years until he passed away. Like, we have, like, good
We got
things.
street cred,
We've got
motherfucker.
street cred. And this kid is just pulling it into the current time. Like, he is a YouTube, social media sensation. Like, he has 10,000 views, like, 2 weeks ago when I saw it. And it's just
Yeah,
going
she's
to
up to,
keep
like, 50
growing.
now.
Oh, I'm
Like,
sure.
yeah, he's
I'm
like-
sure. Like, we haven't had
The
no
problem is
video.
everyone wants to be negative, dude. The
Yeah,
problem
that's
with
such a dumb-
And that's not even. That's not.
Dude, yeah,
even
we were
the
talking about
Pocono
this
scene
earlier
as, like,
today.
above.
That's the world.
Like,
Yeah.
we were talking about this earlier
the Pocono
today about,
scene is,
like...
so funny to me because it's like, even if anybody is doing any little fucking,
Even if it sucks,
microcosm of a
support it
thing,
because they're doing it.
everybody is so angry about it.
Amen.
And you're just like, dude, like, if we all, like, pull the wagon remotely the same way, we could all be doing
The
the same
pyramids
shit.
weren't made with a bunch of single dudes pulling stones. It was 20 dudes
That's
pulling
like
one
kind of
stone.
the fucked up thing is like all
Yeah.
the
And
best
slavery,
bands,
so that's a bad
like
metaphor.
the biggest and best bands have came from this area. Like you have Captain We're Sinking, the Menzingers.
Oh, yeah.
Like obviously, like
The
not
Menzingers
well,
who
the
still
Holy Mess,
refuse
like
to play
all,
around.
but like
Title fight,
all
title
these
fight.
title fight,
Title fight.
Wicca
Fight,
Phase,
yeah.
like Wicca Phase,
Yeah.
Tiger's Drop,
And then you go to the hardcore
Hayatana.
scene. Strength for the Reason was one
Yeah.
of the biggest
Oh,
fucking
yeah, that
bands.
was too.
Wisdom and
Wisdom and
Chains is
Chains.
from
Wisdom
East
and
Stroudsburg,
Everyone-
New York
Yeah.
City
Oh,
right now.
that's what I meant to
And
say. Not
still-
Strength for a Reason.
still fucking
I just
good.
went into my.
Strength for Reason's Nana Coke, baby.
Yeah, that's
But
that
the
coke.
problem is that like nobody wants like out here now. There's nobody that is, I guess, doing anything. But also, when you do something, everybody's always like the first one to be like, "Ugh, I'm not."
I
in the
do-
mood
It's
for
a
that."
lack, also a lack of venues. Really.
Yeah, a lack of
I
venues,
mean,
and then also the advent of, I mean, all the technology we have. Like literally every single week, the three of us write, record, mix, and master one of those songs. And 20 years ago,
We
the
read
three of
60 fucking 70 songs,
yeah,
maybe.
like
you know?
we just have a bunch of songs, and
Let's play a show.
like we did last
We
week.
do.
We play
Well,
once a year.
We
once
play
a
once
year.
a year, and it's a bit, we are lucky in that we
Can we
only,
open?
we only play we
Fuck
can
yeah.
play together. We only
Let's
play
go.
once a
You
year.
can close if you
and
want.
I want to let's go.
We
Let's
throw a
do
big
it.
party. Like this year, I bought 150 Hawaiian leis to throw out into the crowd while we played.
We all dressed Hawaiian.
We all
outfits.
dressed Hawaiian. The
Nice.
crowd got rowdy. Like
Yeah, there's beer being spilt everywhere. People dance all over the place. But we, for that show, like, I mean, we
play once a year because we know that
It's not going to happen if you do it
it's
again.
not going to happen
Yeah.
every
Yeah,
time.
if you do every 3 months, even you're gonna get a third of the person of the turnout, and then the
Sure.
next one's a quarter of that, and then you just all of a sudden are playing to nothing. But I think the advent of all the technology and like social media and everything helps that we can do this every
Sure.
week and things like that, and other people can put their things out. Like fucking Little Pocono is not gonna fucking make it if it's not for what's available now.
Yeah.
But it takes away at the same time from the days where you had to go to one place with all of the other people that were also doing the same thing in their bedrooms, in their garages, and you all got together and you sat around and were probably, because you're teenagers, you're judgmental of the other. You're like, yeah, like are you as like into this as I am? Like, I don't know. Are you as fucking punk rock as me, man?
Yeah, but you
Are
still have to
fucking
show
hardcore
up.
as me? But
You
you
still
gotta
have to
show
show
up.
up.
And
Yeah,
if
it's like-
and after a while, you start recognizing the people that show up every week, and you go, okay, this is our scene, this is our heart. Everything being kind of more individualized, everyone can just record in their fucking their bedroom if they want to, and put things out on social media. It kind of it takes away from the ability to just be congregating and meeting up. And I know Steve with the showcase, he's been trying to like get some shit together like on Sundays and stuff, where it's going to be like everybody kind of get together and try to build that.
I want to go to one of the. Are they started yet?
He does his pod. All right, so
Well, they
he
have
does
like
his.
a clinic on it. Like, I mean, like, are they having people like play music?
Well,
Because they were doing an
basically-
open mic
He
for a
wants
Basically-
while.
Yeah, it's gonna be like a
Well,
big
no. What he
jam
does,
room
what he
thing.
does is he does his show on Sundays, from what I understand.
Yeah.
And then afterwards, he has an open mic. So anybody that wants to go, hang out, jam, whatever.
Because they
There's
took
so
away the
many
old open
open
mic that was
mics,
there.
though.
There
Yeah, but
are,
a lot of
but
them
this one's
aren't in
gonna
the
be-
same sense of like
This is going
really
to be like come
music
out and
central.
play like
Yeah, 'cause
your
that's
music.
Sarah Street.
Yeah.
But what if you were
They
just gonna
have
come and
one.
talk shop?
What was that?
We'll talk.
Like,
Yeah.
I don't want to go there and just like pick up an acoustic and be like, oh yeah, here's my shit. Like instead of just like be like, yo guys, can we get something together? Let's do something. Like, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Like, can we play a fucking show?
Networking and
build
seeing
something.
what the fuck we can get.
And
something
honestly,
back
for
together.
us, like for the three of us, and the whole idea of like we do the show because it kind of exemplifies the three things, like, or the three of us, like in things that we were trying to get better at, like and that we want to like just keep pursuing. Zach being the mastermind behind like mixing, mastering, and everything for our songs and coming up with the basis of those songs. Justin with drumming, and then also with all of the editing and everything there, and then me just talking, I guess. But no, like organizing it and like producing
being
it.
the guy that talks, I don't even have social media.
Yeah.
So I couldn't ever get
I'm bad at the
together.
internet. I mean, like me and Kyle have been going back and
Dude,
forth.
it's great. You're like, I don't internet unless I'm at work, and I'm like, I can respect that.
Yeah, dude, I seriously, I
am
shoot
the
it at
only
the
one
house.
you can get a hold of at any given time.
I realized that at like 3 a.m. last night.
Oh yeah, when I
after-
messaged you,
dude,
mind you,
I
I was
fucking hate
so
the thing.
drunk
Oh
when I
my
responded.
god.
'Cause
My
I was
message was
like,
read over about
it's
10 times because me and my roommate went out to Shangy's in Allentown and we got a sixtel keg of this 9.2% Russian Imperial Stout that's called Unorthodox. And so I had about 4 pints of that and then other things. And then I was like, all right, so, his wife saw on his page, so I'll just message her. And then I sat there and typed it out in like my notes to make sure it was all right. And it took like a half hour. And
When I
like,
responded, I was
there
like
we-
so drunk because
Yeah.
he left me asleep on the couch and watched a different movie because he's like, I was crying about how the new song we wrote sounded like Coldplay. So we were having a rough night.
Nice.
Hey,
So
what's
I-
wrong with Coldplay?
Like old
They sell
Coldplay,
a
mind
lot.
you.
They sell
I
a
like
lot.
But seriously, no, it's amazing. But I was very, very
Was it
sad
all
about how good it
yellow?
was.
Was it all yellow?
Oh, it's
Dude,
is that the right album though,
guitar tone
right?
is pretty.
How no, it reminds me of, like, I watched a cartoon that had Coldplay in it the other day and I bawled my eyes out. But this song sounded like it, so I was really, really sad about it. And I was like, "This is our Coldplay.
No, you
We're
should be
finally
happy. You should be happy
Coldplay."
about it. 'Cause
And then I fell asleep. He watched some weird war movie, and I woke up and I looked at my phone and I was like, "Oh shit! I should probably." I was like, "I gotta respond to this." But my drunken
Yeah.
self, while I have food in the air fryer that I don't remember putting in there,
Well,
by the way.
I will say I was very happy to wake up this morning at like 11 a.m. and roll over and see a response from like 3:48 a.m. going, "Oh, thank God I didn't wake anybody up. She was just awake still." That
I'm
makes
just
me feel
very
better.
drunk.
Hell yeah. Now, kind of going into a little bit what you were just kind of alluding to, like new music and everything. Speaking of the band Crippling Addictions, which the first post I made, grab me one of those as well, actually. I'll take one. Pass and ice.
Hey, can I have one of those as well?
A Boudice, as you said before.
Boudice, man, makes it sound
Boudice.
good.
It's fancier.
Luckily, I have
Um,
some fizz.
So, what was the influence behind the sound that you developed for this band, or was it just a very natural? I sat down and wrote some songs, and this is what came out. Like what is for you, SteveO? What is your approach? And then from like a band member, you for those that don't know, SteveO, you're playing guitar and your main vocals, and then Jen, you do backing vocals and you do keyboards,
Yes.
and then you have Cliff. And then I think your social media says is with the other guy when he wants to show up. or
Whoever
something.
wants to show up. It's because
Yeah.
seriously, our band is whoever wants to play with us. If somebody is busy, we call somebody else.
Fuck yeah.
It's always the two of us. It'll
Yeah.
always be the two of us.
Hell yeah.
But
So-
if anybody is busy,
And if you have the chops and you're listening tonight, we're more than willing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Open
The thing is-
invitations.
yeah, like
there.
currently our bass player lives in fucking Scotland. Like,
Jesus, that makes
But-
touring hard.
Yeah.
right? Well, yeah. Well,
little
when
bit.
we do Europe later,
Yeah, yeah.
we'll be.
So what
Perfect.
led to the development of your sound? Because it was not knowing what to expect going into seeing that show, seeing the bigwig show that you guys were playing on, not knowing what to expect. I was completely surprised with the whole entire thing, and in a good way. I was kind of thinking you were going to go more down that, like, knowing that through having conversations with Ted that, like, you also liked Face to Face, and I knew that. I was thinking it was going to be there a little bit more, maybe just like more like not aggro punk, but like a little bit more like you took a step back, and my hypothesis was like, oh, you went more like maybe more to roots, and it's going to be more aggressive and like crazy and all over the place. And it was, but it was, in my opinion, it was just very well contained and well thought out. So what was the thought process and your approach to writing these songs, and what kind of produced the initial sounds that you've come up with?
Well, the thing that I would say is this: hey, thank you. That's high praise. Thank you.
Fuck yeah, man! No, you're not doing anything wrong.
but the thing is, when this record was on not the shelf, but like on the burner.
Yeah.
For what we were working on, it was actually me and my buddy Tim Brown. He plays a band called Elway.
Fucking, I love Elway.
Elway's
great.
fucking sick.
Elway's so good.
And it was me and Tim, and what it really was the mess had just broken up. It was like it had just broken up, but the things I had, some of these songs, like Babylon, Good Kids, like these were all like shit I had in my mind for the mess.
Okay.
That was not seemed to full fruition.
Yeah.
As it were. And then when me and Tim started jamming, it was like we're all, I would say, as everyone in the room, we're all getting a little bit older.
Yeah.
So the thing is, like just playing like a full like fucking NoFX fast beat. Yes, it will make any song sound good.
Oh fuck yeah, it will.
But the thing is,
at 50, do I want to be playing this song still?
Is that always the solution?
Yeah.
Sure.
And so then what we did there was like me and Tim just like got together, smoked some weed, and just like figured out what was the best parts for the song.
Yeah.
Tim actually bought an electronic drum set. I've never fucked with an electronic drum set, but the way his house was in Philly, we couldn't jam with full drums.
Okay.
Because it was, neighbors would start complaining.
And then it became Ramona's household.
Yeah, so we did a lot of that shit. Like just, Tim would be playing drums to headphones. I'd be like playing guitar in headphones. Everything was in headphones because we couldn't fuck with the neighbors.
Yeah.
And with all that shit is where it became actually as simple as you hear the record. It is that simple because it had to be that simple.
Yeah.
Because we had nothing else to do.
That reminds me, there was that.
We couldn't expand.
There was in the early 2000s, Iron and Wine started gaining popularity, and their first album was something that I really loved because the guy wrote it. I think Sam Bean is his name. He wrote the album while his daughters were sleeping in the other room, and so he couldn't play loudly. So it's all very softly finger picked, and him going like, "Mama, don't worry, I wrote the love," and he's just very quiet and gives the whole album this weird, almost haunting sound. And it was straight, and it's like in my head, like a very punk rock thing. It was like out of necessity, I had to do this, and then I developed a sound out of that necessity. So listening in headphones, it's more centralized. You can hear clearly, and I'm sure you're mixing with levels to make sure you can hear the drums right, you can hear the guitar right, as opposed to just jamming out in a room and hoping everybody hears every part.
We spent more time making that album sound like shit than you actually would think. Because and Jen is what I asked about
I am the opposite. I love a clean record.
All right.
I want everything to be like, I want it to be like Atlas Studios is pretty much my go-to.
Hell yeah.
Like any Elway record sounds perfect. It's just clean.
The thing for me is I've recorded at Atlas and I've had it.
And he hated it.
So no.
Not hated it. Hated is alright, but he wanted it
that's
dirty.
a bad thing for Matt Allison. Matt Allison is incredible.
No,
producer.
Matt Allison's incredible, but I love I love just like a very, very pristinely clean recording.
Yeah.
Where he wants like it to be a little grungier.
Yeah, you want more fuzz.
Where I don't
and
want
shit
that.
on it.
Look, I still listen to the Kinks.
All right, yeah,
You know what I
fuck
mean?
yeah,
King?
yeah.
Oh, I fucking love the Kings.
And so when it comes to drums, I'm like, dude, can we get drums natural? Can we get this shit to sound a little bit grittier?
Yeah.
Can we have this shit not sound
Instead
like
of you
just
putting a vocal effect,
isolated?
can I just go in this hallway and shout and get the
exactly?
room? Yeah.
Like, I don't want this isolated.
Yeah.
Like, let's just fucking play it.
Yeah.
Like, and that for me is like now as I've gotten older. Obviously, in my youth, it was way easier to be like, oh yeah, Pro Tools, dude. Like fucking tighten that guitar up, dude. Noise gate, dude. Like let's not fuck around. And now that I'm older, it's like, dude, like all the best records have imperfection.
Yeah, and it's that natural feel. I mean,
that shit.
even
like,
you just look at fucking like John Bonham drumming. It's like there are things that sound like they are going to be wrong, and if you were to cut them up and perfect them, it would lose the whole feeling of a lot of those songs, for sure.
Well, that's what I'm saying. And the thing is, when you're able to catch it, and I'm not saying we caught lightning in a bottle, because that'd be like crazy for me to say about my own record. But I really do feel as though we did catch a little bit of energy there that was like.
Well, say that you caught a lightning bug in a bottle.
Yeah,
not a crazy
energy, not like per se. Yeah. But it was like when me and Tim were like together for like that like hot minute.
Also, Tim not being a drummer is also incredible that he did all the drums.
Yeah.
So he wasn't a drummer.
He doesn't play drums at all.
Whoa, all right.
He just figured it out, and that's who did
what's
drums
on
the
record.
Damn.
Yep.
Yeah. So
he is not a drummer.
Me and my buddy Tim. That whole record is just me and Tim.
Fuck yeah.
And it is.
Yeah, me and Cliff didn't come until later in the game.
Yeah, but with that record, it was like I feel as though it's perfectly shitty.
Yeah.
If that makes it.
No, yeah, I hear it.
Like
you need a little crust on there. You need a little crust on there.
Because had it been sounding awesome, everybody been like, oh yeah, of course it sounds awesome. Like you need to fucking have it, like have a little bit of grit. Let the song quality speak for itself.
Yep.
Like with Hot Water Music, for example. Like Fuel for the Hay Game is my favorite Hot Water Music record. Yeah. And that record sounds like absolute dog shit. But the songs speak for themselves.
Definitely.
And that is where I'm at.
And another example that immediately pops to my head with that is Catch-22 has Keys Be Nights, and it's a great album, and it is certain parts are maybe a little sloppy, certain parts like, you know, the snare sound and everything like that were very specific to what they were getting out of the room they were in. And then they wanted to be able to legally play those songs again, so when they became Streetlight Manifesto, because, you know, it was like a Temptation situation where everybody left Catch-22, and all of a sudden all the original members of Catch-22 were like, hey, let's get back to... Wait, Catch-22's still a thing over here? But we're a Catch-22, and so there's this imposter, you know, 1995 The Temptations versus 1965 The Temptations. So they all got together as Streetlight Manifesto, and they re-recorded Keys Be Nights, and it is arguably a better version, quote-unquote, a better version, but it isn't. It is a cleaner version, it is a tighter version, it is the exact same album with the exact same people 7 to 10 years later, and they've got better quality microphones, technology's just improved, and it is still... I've listened to it, and I've accidentally like gone to YouTube and been like, you know, I just want to listen to like 9mm and, you know, 3-piece suit, and I get the wrong version of it. I'm like, yeah, no, I can hear it. Like, it's not the same. Even the same thing for demos back in the day. Sure. There were I had you know, for Bigwig, like Invitation to Tragedy and Unmarried Melodies, I had them on burnt copies like that. I didn't actually get to buy a CD because I didn't have the money to buy the CD from them. But I had Kazaa and Morpheus and Bearshare, so I was able to download all of the individual files.
Oh man,
and me and my brother would make like the albums, but what would wind up happening is we would have this album that had 3 versions of like or not sample tracks, but like cut tracks, demo tracks. And I would like the demo track version better because that's what I grew up listening to.
I felt the same with Against Me. A lot of like the Against Me ones that you download on LimeWire and shit would be like, oh my god, I love this. And then you would hear...
Do it.
But then you'd hear like the real version of it. Like even before, I argued with them with us for searching. And
so
I was like,
you can
that's
just go
not
outside the door if you want. You don't have to squat like she would have to.
Also, I'm not gonna lie, that cat has been staring into my soul this
whole time. She does. Lucifer stares into souls.
It's amazing though.
Yeah.
But yeah, with Searching, at least like with that album, I for the longest time thought the demo versions were the actual versions.
Yeah.
And I loved it. And I still love that album. And I love Laura and like I love Against Me.
I had a couple of albums that were like that where it was like even like growing up in the early 2000s, like the emo scene and everything that was coming out, and most of my friends and I were into like the, you know, things that were coming out, like Taking Back Sunday, Brand New, Early November, all of those things.
Yeah.
And the Early November, I had a version of their album, the entire album, every single song.
I know exactly which one you're talking about too.
And it's way better.
I was obsessed with that.
Yeah.
I know.
For all of this, the first release for all of this
was so much
was
better.
so good, and then
It
they
was
cleaned
so
it up
good.
like 6 months later. They went and re-recorded it,
I
and
know.
the demos were great.
Oh my
Even,
God, you're
like,
the first person that's ever even said that to me.
Well, good. We're connected on that.
Right.
And then Stray Light Run when the guy left Take Back Sunday and started Stray Light Run.
I actually saw them open for Minus the Bear because
Ooh,
I loved
Menos
it.
Eloso.
I loved Minus the
Fuck
Bear
yeah.
so much. That's one of my, honestly, to this day, one of my favorite bands of all time.
They're really
But
solid.
it was
they
them
are really
and
solid.
somebody really weird opened for them though, and it was like the two of them and then somebody else. I can't fucking remember what it is, but. Yeah, that was like the whole like demo version. Sometimes the demo ends up being better.
Yeah.
Where like right now, like what we're working on, like we're using like he downloaded Audacity, and we're working on some new songs. And he's like, I can't send these to anybody. Like, no, we can't send these. We can't send these to anyone. And I was like, honestly, it's 2020. Like, we can send these to people now.
Yeah.
Because they don't sound as shitty as, like, back in the day.
Yeah,
like,
and you
just,
get in
like,
your head thinking, like, okay, like, what my demos sounded like. Like, we're tracking an album of my original music, and the quality of just the me playing guitar and the me singing over it is 1,000 times better than 15 years ago if I had recorded these songs
Of course.
and paid somebody to
I think
do
we
it.
all have a lot of like trouble dealing with like realizing that it's not the same now. Where
Yeah.
like there's like straight most SoundCloud rappers are just doing shit in their living room.
Yeah.
Like we're all doing
Yeah.
the same thing. Like we can do this, and it's not embarrassing, and it's totally okay to release it to the world.
Let me digest for a second.
Do it.
I was outside taking a piss, but what I heard and what I would like to say is a lot of these bands though, you see them doing it now. It's like what 7-10 years, as we've been saying. A lot of them are actually getting out of record contracts, and everybody has to fucking own their own shit.
Yeah.
A lot of that is going into that shit where it's just like everybody got fucked when we were all kids.
Yeah.
And now everybody has to fucking re-record that old shit to make sure they own it.
Yeah.
Because if they don't have the masters, they're not gonna have shit.
Yeah.
And that's actually the fucking real dirty part of it.
Yeah, that
that's
is.
why,
There's
that's why
so
you
much.
see a lot of everybody doing that.
There's
now.
so much crazy, like, dirty dealings in the entire history of the music industry. And now we are definitely, like I was saying before, there's kind of this, it's a give and a take with technology and with the advancements that we all have now, that we can just go upstairs and in 5 hours record, mix, and master, put out a great
anything
song.
that you want to learn, you can just look up on YouTube. If you want to buy
that's gonna.
if you want to buy Ableton, you can find out and
Yeah.
learn how to use it on your own.
Oh,
in
that's
your own
how I learned how
time.
to
You know
use
what I
my
mean? Like,
microcord.
Yeah.
all this shit is
I googled
openly
it. I was like, how do
brother-
I do this?
My brother opened up a restaurant in Philly called the Goat and Logan, right? Like Goat Square, like Logan Square,
Yeah.
whatever that area. That
I
was.
know the spot. I didn't see the restaurant.
Yeah, there was a restaurant there for like 7-8 months. That he. One day he was working for. It used to be. Oh God, what was it? It was a speakeasy.
what are we talking about here?
Craig worked for a speakeasy.
Oh, in Philly.
That actually wound up being a real speakeasy because the guy didn't have a legal liquor license and he kept faking it. I can't remember the fucking name. It was the guy that opened the one in God damn it, in Bethlehem. He opened the one, the bookstore or whatever it was in Bethlehem, and then he moved down to
That was
Philly.
like across from the melting pot, right?
The thing about it is that like I hear that this place is cool, this place is cool, and then by the time I try to go, the place is closed.
Yeah.
Is that like what?
They just
That's
just wanted to,
Bethlehem,
it's
yeah.
Bethlehem. Yeah, there's a lot of experimental.
You gotta catch them while they're
Yeah,
open.
but my brother, he literally was working at a charcuterie place. He made a pound cake or a crumb cake or something like that out of random ingredients that were left over by literally being bored one day and typing in all of the ingredients to Google and typed all of the ingredients and then like found all this would make a crumb cake, and he made a crumb cake, and his boss was like, that's phenomenal, I'm opening a new restaurant, you should be my chef. And he went, okay, sure. And he had never been a chef before. He was literally like the guy that like mixed the jam up and like cut the cheese and fucking he cut the cheese. But you know that, and so he went home and for a week he just studied Gordon Ramsay videos on YouTube, and then came up with a menu and presented it to the owner. And after a week of just binge watching shit on YouTube, he was able to be like, all right, I'm a chef and I can open this restaurant. Like the technology today and the access to educational materials make it so much easier, for people. And again, going back to what I was saying before, it affects the local immediate scene a little bit in a negative way. But it's just a great thing.
Not if you're still putting on shows in your local scene.
Still putting on shows in your local scene. Like, that is the thing. You have to connect that piece of it there. And
getting people
have
to come out is the hard part.
That
now.
I gotta give a shout out to Jesse. Dude, Jesse has had the castle running since 2005.
Dude,
and
that
place
literally
still has shows.
Yeah.
It has had incredible shows. It has had some not incredible shows. But the thing is, Jesse is still out there doing the work.
And if we ask Jesse to do something, Jesse will still do it. Like, we're like, hey, we want to have a show. Can we do it?
15 years. That venue has been running.
Fuck yeah. It is literally the longest running venue in the Poconos.
Longest running venue in the Poconos? I think it's one of the longest running venues in the States.
Yeah, for
because
literally
924 Gilman, I think,
local.
was the only thing that had the in California had the previous title.
Oh shit! Yeah.
I think that
How did you get it certified?
We have to go through the punk police, man.
The punk police.
Jesse would never want to do. Jesse would be like, I don't feel like dealing with that.
Jesse would never want to fuck with the punk police.
That's too much maintenance to deal with them. Fuck that. All right.
That just seems wrong, right? The punk police.
It does a little bit. All right. Well, I do want to say
the police are pretty punk though.
The police were punk.
The band.
The police.
Oh no, I knew the band. The police.
Are pretty
well,
punk,
were they punk?
They're pretty
Dude,
punk.
Roxy is pretty punk.
I like the police. I think they're cool.
I know. I like the police as well.
Yeah. All right. Well, before we go too far into 1970s, are they or aren't they? I do want to say just real quick, thank you so much to the two of you for coming on. Instagram at the Crippling Addictions, correct?
Yes.
I said it earlier in one of the posts I made as the Crippling Addiction, no S on it, and then I published it. And I went, oh, that's like a totally different meaning almost. Like SteveO and the Crippling Addiction versus SteveO and the Crippling Addictions.
Yeah.
A little bit different meaning there. But a huge thank you to both you, Jen and SteveO, for coming on and being here tonight. Fuck yeah. Do you have any upcoming shows, anything that you guys want to plug?
Actually, Philly and up here, actually. So we're going to do at the pharmacy with our friend Greg Reckes from Winnipeg.
Fuck yeah.
Then we're also
Winnipeg.
Oh man,
this is one of my favorite songs.
He's one of
the few that loves Winnipeg.
And he is incredible too. He's an acoustic dude that just plays his. He brings his own stage with him that he has tambourines underneath, and he stomps on it. He has a stomp box.
Oh damn.
And he's like kind of crusty, but he's incredible. He's such a fucking awesome musician. But so him, and then we're playing another show with him on the 14th. At the castle at Jesse's house.
Ask a punk.
Yeah, Castle Weird Skull with Greg Reckes and Don't Panic.
Hell yeah.
Don't Panic acoustic.
And what date is that again?
March 14th.
Is that a Friday, Saturday?
It's a Saturday
night,
Very nice. Very nice.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah, I'll have to make
BYOB and Ask a Punk, but we will be having a good time at the castle.
Yeah.
I have to drive by it anytime we go up to my brother's house. He now lives farther than the castle, which is crazy to me. And every time anybody's driving, I'm like, oh, there's the castle. And nobody in the car ever knows what I'm talking about.
That's good.
All right.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's
They're not
good.
punk. They don't know.
They know or they don't know.
They don't. And if you don't know, you shouldn't know.
Yeah, exactly.
Friend. All right. Well, again, thank you so much. And as always, with our closing of the show, we're going to jump right into Let Me Ask You a Question from Let Me Ask You a Question. Hit it, Justin.
Let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question.
All right, there you got it. No pants Kyle in there for all your... It was by demand. People were requesting me to not wear pants. That's why we did that. Yeah, that's what they were like. Let me see them gams, them grandma gams, as we said last week. Grandma hams, as we were saying last week. All right, so every week we like to ask you the question from Let Me Ask You a Question, our brother, sister, love podcast put out by Moot.tv, our parent, sister... incest company. I have no idea what they are.
Parent sister incest company.
Yeah, parent sister incest company.
Okay, cool.
All right, so every week Anthony
Write that
Anthony asks Greg and Eric a question, and I like to bring it to you guys here. And just quick answers to wrap up the show. This week's question: you're going to be tortured, and I think he set up in a Russian gulag. You're going to be tortured in a Russian gulag, but the torturer is going to let you choose the music that you are going to be tortured to. And you get to pick one song, and that song is going to play on repeat. What song do you choose? And to give you a little bit of what they discussed, like, do you pick something that is going to torture the torturer as well? Is it going to be something that brings you a little bit of peace of mind? Is it going
Reverse
to be
psychology,
a
maybe?
really long song that you don't have to hear so many times over and over again? Because you could do the what we were saying before, the
decline.
The
Technically,
decline. You could do the
it's
decline,
like
20-minute song, a little bit longer.
I mean,
for
it's
you.
not one technical song
Ah,
when
it
you
is
look at
on
the album,
jukeboxes
but
when you
yes.
play
I
it
wish
at
I knew the
bars.
type of torture though.
Oh, I think it's just going to be straight
Just
up. You're
straight
strung
up.
up. You're going to
Alright.
be whipped, maybe waterboarded, anything that they can go.
But my
It's
fingernails
Russian.
pulled
See, I
out.
want.
Fingernails,
Oh, I don't like that
stretched.
at all. That makes me
Waterboarding, you go on
uncomfortable.
Guantanamo Bay.
Yeah, I was going to say that was the wrong
Oh.
area if we're going Russian gulag. But Justin, do you have any ideas what song you would like to be tortured to and why?
I think if I had to listen to one song over and over, it'd probably be a Mogwai song. It would be My Father, My King.
Okay.
I don't know why. It's just
Yeah.
an epic song.
All right.
It's long as fuck. It's like 25 minutes long. That's
Good
probably
long
why.
song.
That or something from like
Do you
Sono
think that would
Earth.
drive them crazy at all, or is that a song?
Probably.
Yeah.
Probably.
You think that would be?
Yeah.
All right. For you guys over there, anything, Jen
I
and
honestly
Steve?
think at first I thought, I was like, wow, if I want to annoy this person, I'm gonna go Cotton Eye Joe because it'd be
Oh my
obnoxious.
God!
But
Oh Lord!
I would lose my
You're just
own mind.
Stuck
though.
in Texas Roadhouse for forever.
Yeah, like it would be really rough. That I would probably have to go with "Do You Love Me" by Nick Cave.
Oh, okay.
Nick Cave is my favorite artist,
right.
and if I'm gonna be tortured to death,
Very different from.
but
Cotton Eye
also
Joe.
like, it would still be kind of like a sexy death.
All
I
right,
think
a
it would be
sexy
alright.
death. I like
but
that you
Cotton
went
Eye
with a sexy
Joe
death.
would be my like if I want to annoy the shit out of somebody.
Yeah. All right. And what about you, Steve-O? What are you thinking?
The Eagles.
Ooh.
The Eagles
Yeah.
take it to the limit.
Oh my God!
Because,
Oh my God!
Hey, allow me to digress into why. Because it will immediately start with my torture taking it to the limit. But that chorus rides. And
Yeah.
that chorus rides and it
Uh-huh.
rides and it rides. And by the third time, my torturer has now, they've gleaned my subservience.
Yeah.
Dude, that chorus is gonna fucking haunt you for the rest of your life.
Hell yeah, I like it. I like that.
One
Zach.
more time is what I say.
One more time, Zach. What about you? What would you want to be tortured by, and for what
Probably,
reason?
What's up? The He-Man version
I
of
was saying
Four
that.
Non-Blondes.
I was really hoping that was it.
But the He-Man version of it,
Okay.
like the disco
That gives
version.
me a different idea for my
Because I
answer.
feel like if I heard that song enough times in a row, I would gain superpowers and be able to like just mentally break out of my torture cell.
That would be pretty sweet. That would be pretty sweet. Now, I have a couple ideas. Basing them off of what you guys are saying. My immediate reaction to you wanting to do that version of Four Non-Blondes is to do like a Weird Al version of
Oh,
a song.
man.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I think I would go with his version of American Pie.
Oh my god.
The Star Wars version.
Star Wars version.
Because it is still about 8 minutes long.
Actually, I'm changing my song.
Yeah?
You said Star Wars, and it's fucking.
Just do
What's
the Emperor March.
bad lip
Oh,
reading?
man.
Oh,
The Yoda.
Seagull?
Seagulls, yeah.
You don't want no seagulls,
Yeah,
whatever that
yeah,
is. Yeah, you
yeah.
want to do that? That'd be
Yeah, that'd-
terrible.
that'd probably be
that
my
would be
choice.
terrible. I think Anthony's answer was something to the effect of like I don't know if it was like a John Philip Sousa era or an earlier orchestrated piece, but it was redone with like farts or something like that. So for him, it would entertain him. But But for everybody else, it would be terrible.
Lifetime of fart noises.
Lifetime of fart noise, because who knows how long you're going to be stuck in there.
Sure.
All right. Well, hey, guys, check out Let Me Ask You a Question, dropped every Monday, along with our episodes on iTunes or Apple Podcasts, if you're not an old person. And you can also check us out on Stitcher for podcasts if you have a non-iPhone, if you have an Android or one of those things. You can check us out every single Monday along with them. You can also check the backlog episodes of White Wasabi. As always, I would like to give a big thanks to everybody that joined us live here, listening in the chat. We were really chit-chatting a bunch, so we didn't get a lot of time to talk to you guys. But you know what? As I always say, go fuck yourself.
Well, we have to do a version of Gilligan's Island. That's
I did see that Slacky wants us to do Houseboat Time
And I'm the
Jones
professor.
song. All right, okay, we can definitely do that. But thank you everybody for tuning in live, everybody for tuning in the future, and as always, a big thank you to Mr. Justin Olimpedo for getting everything put together. Thank you so much there, and Mr. Zachary.
I wake up in the morning and I step outside and I take a deep breath and I get real high and I...
Stormin'. All right, Zachary. All of that stormin'. For Kyle Mocha Won't Shut Up here on the wonderful Houseboat Tommy Lee Jones, I am Kyle Mocha. Thanking you all for joining in the future, in the present, wherever you may be. I mean, after right now, you're in the future.
Yeah.
If you're still in the present,
Welcome to the future, motherfucker.
You've got some weird shit. Welcome to the future, motherfucker. As always, here is our closing theme song to play us out. We will see you guys next week, where we will have our first ever internet-based interview. We're going to be joined by Mr. Actually, it's an all-California episode. We're going to be joined by Mr. Gregory Lastra, who just put out a short story that is published and available on Amazon. Zach, don't worry, I'll find a way to get it to you that's not on Amazon.
Thank you.
Fuck
Jeff Bezos.
He's a very big boycotter of Jeff Bezos.
I agree.
And we are also going to be premiering the new music video from The Strangers. Again, that's Stray with a Y, Ngers, Strangers, that are also based out in Southern California, out of LA. So we're going to be getting that to you guys next week, so tune in for that. And as always, here is our closing theme song to play us out. See you guys next week.
Later.
Bye.
Fuck you.
Go fuck yourself.
Mood.tv.
There's nothing more egomaniacal than singing the theme music for your own show. Who am I? Kelsey Grammer. If I could only drink like him, we're gonna write a new one every week. Some will be solid, some